What would you say if we asked, what is the biggest problem in general outpatient departments in Nigeria? Chances are you'd say the long and unpredictable patient waiting times. And you'd be right. For many outpatient departments, patients have no idea how long they have to wait before they're seen by a doctor. What they do know is that they have a long and unpredictable wait ahead. And they have no idea whether they're being given their rightful place in the queue. It's quite common for patients to wait 2 to 3 hours, and if you think this wait is long, think again, because on many occasions, patients have to wait a staggering 5 to 6 hours to be seen. In fact, the time that the patient arrives seems to have no clear relationship to when they are seen. But why is this happening? In an age when we can put a man on the moon, can't we find a simple way to bring order into our outpatient departments and reduce patient waiting times? This video will show you how you can reduce waiting time by as much as 80% and make dramatic improvements in your outpatient department. What's more, you won't need lots of extra money or resources to do this. Sounds impossible? Let us show you how you can do this in your Gopd, the same way it was done in Federal Medical Centre Keffi. But first, let's look at what is causing the problem of long patient waiting times.
When we dig down to see what is causing long patient waiting times, we find that a number of different factors work together to create this problem. Part of the reason that patients have to wait so long is that many of them, perhaps as many as 60 to 70%, arrive really early in the day, often as early as 6:30 a.m., well before the start of clinics. So extending the opening hours of the registration window and making the process easier should ease registration. What's more, over time, patients will learn that they don't have to arrive so early in the day to get registered. Another main reason for long waiting times is that in most Gopds, the doctor is the one who has to take the patient's vital signs. This can easily take the doctor around 3 to 5 minutes and slows down the clinic. If you think about it, if a doctor sees 30 patients per day, they can spend 90 to 150 minutes just taking vital signs. In Keffi Federal Medical Centre, the doctors and nurses got together and agreed to introduce nurse triage. Introducing nurse triage has really helped to reduce the load on the doctors and has freed them up to see more patients. If you could introduce a system that gave every patient a clear appointment time, you could put a stop to the long waits and reduce patient anxiety about other patients jumping ahead of them in the queue. How this works is that each doctor has their own appointment sheets which are kept with the triage nurse. As soon as the nurse has completed triaging the patient, she gives the patient a specific appointment time to see the doctor. Patients now are much calmer and happier. They feel looked after and they can relax knowing that they would get their rightful place in the system. The system also allows Gopd management and staff to know the number of patients seen by each doctor every day. This has helped to even out doctors' contribution to the Gopd. This shows you how making a few small changes can make a huge difference to patients and staff alike. With the implementation of these changes in Federal Medical Centre Keffi, the system now works like this. A patient arrives at registration window. They give their details, which are entered directly in a computer and onto their medical card. The patient then pays to a cashier who is seated right next to the clerk and collects their handcard in one easy step. The patient then goes to triage, where the patient's vital signs are taken and entered directly into the patient's medical records. The nurse then gives a specific appointment time to the patient to see the doctor. The patient, who now knows exactly when to see the doctor, can then manage their time properly, while the triage nurse sends the appointment schedule and the medical records to the doctor. Time management through the appointment system is the driving force behind the entire transformation process. Before the implementation of these changes, the system in Keffi worked like this. Patients arrived early in the morning at a crowded registration window and queue up to give their details. After the patient's details were written down in a ledger, the patient went up one floor in another block where the cashier was located and queued again at another crowded window to pay. They came back down to the registration window to queue yet again to collect their card. After collecting their card, the patient then again queued for doctor's consultation, which could be best described as an endless wait in chaos.
An assessment was sent to some hospitals, of which Keffi was among them. And that assessment was supposed to score each of the hospitals in terms of service delivery. And the result that came from Keffi was that we score 2/5, and that is a failure. So I was a bit worried. It was then that they told me I shouldn't worry, they would do something about it.
The management of Federal Medical Centre Keffi took the Servicom evaluation in good faith and opened its arms to embrace the General Outpatient Department Improvement Program. Let us closely examine the different segments that constitute the Service Improvement Initiative. Registration used to close at 12 noon. Patients knew this, so they came to the hospital as early as 6:30 in the morning to queue up. The cashier, who was previously located upstairs in another block, has been relocated just beside the registration desk so that patients can register, pay and collect their cards from the same place, therefore making the patients queue only once instead of 3 times.
Your address?
Number 60. Nyam. Are you number 60?
Yes.
Your name?
Nyanyadu.
Let me see.
Here, their vital signs are measured according to a pre-agreed protocol and then written directly into the patient's medical records. Nurses also watch out for trigger points that indicate which patient requires urgent attention and need to be fast-tracked to the doctor. After triage, the nurse gives the patient a small card with the time of appointment to see the doctor. She enters that time in the doctor's appointment sheet. Once full, the appointment sheet and the medical records of those appointments are taken to the doctor's room. This is then used to call the patients according to their time of appointment.
Adi.
The doctor also records the actual time of consultation against the given appointment time so that any delays can be monitored and assessed.
Initially, we are the ones that used to do the vital signs. When we call in the patients, we do the vital signs, and before we start the real consultation.
If you are given this number and you are assigned to a doctor, you know exactly your date and your time, so that you remain, unlike before.
As part of the transformation process in time management, a laptop computer was provided to be used in medical records unit for storage and speedy retrieval of patient information. Most people who come to hospitals for medical attention are already in distress, and so they need everything that can ease their condition.
Good afternoon. Yeah, can I help you?
To further perfect the service delivery drive in the hospital, Information and Complaints Desk was introduced in the Gopd so that patients can easily make inquiries and lay any complaints they may have.
What are the things needed to replicate this effort? And what is the role of the hospital management in ensuring this success?
The management removed all red tape, bureaucracy from our operations. They gave us free hand so that we could do that which we promote the pilot project.
And management has also tried to give them all the necessary support so that they work as a team. And if, as a matter of fact, I have made the Servicom to be a direct unit under my office, that's the office of the medical director.
The transformation process of any system is not something left to chance. There must be a team of dedicated staff to implement the changes.
We are involved in some of the decision making in this hospital. Therefore, that has really made us to be really happy going about doing our daily courses.
We told you at the beginning that outpatient waiting time can be reduced by as much as 8% if you want to. See, it's very possible. Even if you cannot change everything at once, you can pick just one aspect to begin with and add to it gradually over time. Every step that helps improve service delivery in your hospital is a step in the right direction.